Hi, and welcome to Learn Love Tarot. I'm Angie. Welcome in if you are new here. And if you're a returning viewer, subscriber, thank you so much for contributing your energy in such a loving and positive way. If I've ever done a reading for you, or if you are simply subscribed to the channel, know that the energies that I read for absolutely include yours. So this is for you all and for any new subscribers who find this video whenever they find it. Now, we see cards on the table already. The reason for that is when I recorded this last night, it stopped after I got done with the divine masculines side of the energy. I got maybe about 4 minutes into the divine feminines, and unbeknownst to me, the video was no longer viable. It was not keeping up with my mouth. I don't even know how that happens. I am not a technical person, but I did not want the reading to be lost, especially because this was a making-ish happen reading. Yesterday was June the 5th, 2024. Which is a 658 angel number, and that is the path of cycles. Okay, so when you add together 6 and 5, we get 11. That is the lemniscate energy there, and then in the year of 8, right, also is that energy of balance. So kind of like a double duty balance of energy here. Now, when we add 6, 5, and 8, we get a 19. Okay, that is the Sun card. It is a yes card if you had a particular question and you clicked on the video today. The timing of that is by summer or by sunrise. So something may have already happened today. It's also considered a twin flame card of the sun because it's the happiest card in the deck. And it again signifies that balance of union, clarity, trust, courage, happiness, ambition, opportunity, joy, and optimism. At this part of the Fool's journey, when we get to the sun component, 19 out of 21 places within that journey, the Fool has passed through his dark night of the soul already. Okay, and the way ahead again is finally clear. Okay, then you're happy again. There's no more darkness. You're in the sun, right? Now, that can also indicate worldly success and embracing opportunities to live life to its fullest. When we take 1 and 9 together, that is a 10, which is the Wheel of Fortune. And that is the eternal and immortal force of energy. Okay, the yin, the yang, the divine masculine, divine feminine, the black, the red. Which way is that marble? Is that what they call it? The die on the little spinny thing. I'm not a gambler, so you'll have to help me out there. 1 is the number of self, and anytime a number is with a 0, that is God's protection around whatever the energy of that particular number means. Okay, now this is Jupiter energy with the Wheel of Fortune, luck, fate, chance, new directions, destiny, success. Also a yes card. And the timing is during your first or next Saturn return. Now, wherever Saturn is in your birth chart, it looks like an H with a little T, like a T and H combined, if you don't say so. I say so. That is, that planet only moves all the way around back to its spot on your chart at the time you took your first breath, 27 to 30 years. Okay. Daddy Sadie currently is in 29 degrees of Pisces. So that is an anaretic degree. We go from 0 to 29, which is 30 degrees for each chunk on the clock wheel of astrology, if you will. When any planet is at an anaretic degree, it's like the final exam of what the lesson of that planet is ensuring that we do. Now, Daddy Sadie is the taskmaster. he's there to whip you in shape, just like a drill sergeant, right? So it's kind of like a double down exam. This is the SATs, okay? These are the ACTs. This is going to like be a big shift and indicate a big shift in your life. And whenever that Saturn return is personally for us, that just like the Wheel of Fortune can be a good shift, or at the time we may feel like it's a negative shift. Regardless, it's big. Okay. And again, when it's at 29 degrees, it's like the whole planet, every human is having this final exam. Okay. Now, what is the final exam about? That depends where 29 degrees Pisces sits in your own personal birth chart. That placement will be the pie piece, aka life area, that you're having that test in. There's some kind of a conclusion, some kind of, okay, we've got to learn this lesson, and then we're moving into the next sign. Being in Pisces, if you've already learned that lesson, if you've already followed your dreams, if you've already made the changes that you're supposed to make, that Saturn requires we make in that particular life area, then at 29 degrees, you're very bored, you're over it, you're like, come on, let's get to the next sign already. Okay, so be kind of someone like taking their tests early, maybe they graduate as a junior or something like that. Okay, you've already been there, done it. Now those people that have been kind of fighting the lesson, right, the pressure from Saturn, from that drill sergeant, think about every single movie you've ever seen where there are recruits and the drill sergeant is whipping them into shape. Have you ever seen any movie where the drill sergeant lets the cadet off the hook? I haven't. So if you have, go ahead and let me know there in the comments. But that's the idea anyway. Okay. So it's really telling us you need to chase your dreams. Whatever your biggest wish has been, there are action steps we've taken to do that for 27 to 30 years here in the sign of, in that, going through that whole house. Okay. So a pretty slow moving planet. So moving between signs, if we do 30, 30 years divided by 30 degrees, we're going to go maybe 12 years, 10 to 12 years per house. Okay. Now, what about Wheel of Fortune that I love? There's always an unexpected element, and it usually does turn out in our favor. But if, like Saturn, we haven't done the work, okay, you're not passing. You're going to have to go through that whole course again. And that part, that's not going to be fun, because now you're in the troublemakers group of that drill sergeant. Now you're on his radar. You don't want to be on Daddy Saddy's radar. Okay, because it's karmic ups and downs. What goes around comes around. If you've put in the work, you get to go and you get to move on, and boom, next lesson. Okay, done deal. If we haven't done that, then Daddy Saddy's there with his paddle. Okay, whether you enjoy that or not, it's happening. Okay, for from the Wheel of Fortune, we move 1 + 0 is 1. Jupiter energy, Sagittarius, and Pisces energy, the mutable signs. Lastly, we have 1 + 0 is the Magician, which is Mercury, the planet of communication. And that is also the mutable signs of Virgo and Gemini. I mention these because those are the 4 signs that are having this new start, this new 5-point Venus star. I believe that was on Tuesday, 6/4, whatever day that was. I lost track of my days this week. But it is a whole 4-year cycle that is a new start. And love, what we love, how we view, how we want to be loved, what we view as beautiful. So something else could have ended, and it could have even been abruptly. And now is a whole new cycle where there are 5 points in those 4 years that Venus and the sun will conjunct they come into the same degree and the same house, okay? And that's called a Venus cazimi. And it's like, na, 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 which can be on your love life. It can just, and whatever, depends on where it is, again, in your chart. That's why it's really important to do the detective work and hunt down your birth time if you don't know it. Okay, so there's our little mini lesson on the big energies of astrology. We did have the moon move into Gemini yesterday at 4:36 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We already had 3 planets in the Gemini energy, the dualistic energy of the twins. And then recently we had Mercury move on in. And then yesterday morning, oh, it's not, all are welcome here in Gemini, because it's, their community. They like to have fun. They love a good party. I do not know any boring Geminis. So even with just the 3 planets, that's a stellium. So now we have a stellium plus 2 more planets. That means really any Gemini reading that is on the internet, check it out if the title resounds with you, because that's energy that's affecting every single person on the planet, okay? That dualistic energy, one thing or the other. And we can kind of play hot foot back and forth, because the shadow side of Gemini can be, I don't want to choose. I kind of want to keep one foot in each world. Okay, we know how that usually turns out. Not so good. Thirdly, it is also a third yes card here. So 1 days are very auspicious to make ish happen. Okay. The answer, the timing is, it has already begun when we see the Magician card. That is all 4 elements: earth, air, fire, and water. That is all aces are potential. Okay. How big or what kind of potential it is depends on the suit, depends on the element. Now, this is about using your powers to command your will, and it's an authority, like it's a wanting to do good. If you could just wave your magic wand, right? And again, in coordination with Jupiter, what goes around comes around. If we use our wand to do good and not other things that might hurt people, then then we get rewarded, right? Daddy Saturn gives big time rewards when we've done the work. Okay. All right. So we did an ACES read last night. And again, energy is cyclical. You can check back in 9 days on this reading because I am projecting out through the full moon in Capricorn, which is on the 21st of June, the birthday of yours truly. And we'll also be having one of the hosts on the Spiritual View, and we'll be having our next roundtable discussion then. Now, I pulled a special card, Special Messages for Life Path Ones, okay? And this is a free from judgment, free to love. And it always reminds me, even though, Wicked Witch of the West was not cute, it always reminds me of that kind of energy, but more so in the vein that Dorothy finally clicks her heels and realizes there's no place like home. She was home all along, because home is inside of us. Okay. So this could be 39 here. You could be 39 years old. That could be just your lucky number, perhaps. Free from judgment, free to love. This is like self-imposed judgment. Okay. We're thinking that our happiness is outside of ourselves. Okay. There's no place like home. When we really realize that, we come back from our fool's journey back into self. Okay, so that was the special message for ones. Now, ones are there are doers, there are change makers, they are our leaders, they are the potential seers. They're very dynamic. I had a couple other notes here. Independent, self-reliant. They desire to make a significant impact on the world around them. And what's funny about ones to me, because I am one, I'm like, oh yeah, I so get that. they value their privacy. Because of that independence and self-reliance, it's hard to kind of get inside their little hidey holes, right? They, you know, kind of a little bit of a hermit energy. But it's like, well, how can you be a trailblazer if you like to be alone? So therein lies the rub for ones, right? We have to kind of step outside of that. And here I am with you. And that is extremely hard for me. It's still not easy. And I still judge myself a whole hell of a lot. Now, surrounding that energy is the 33 card. And we've been seeing these master numbers pop up for definitely this last week and coming into the week before last. Heaven Sent is about our third eye opening. Once we come back into a place of self-love, on some Ace of Cups, we see the overflowing water, right? Because you cannot pour from an empty cup. Acts of self-love then fill that cup so that it can overflow, and an understanding that that is what we're able to give to others, okay? And when we're judging ourselves, that is not self-love. That is depleting our cup, right? And then when we do give, we're pouring from an empty place there. And not only that, the water that is there is likely stagnant because it hasn't moved. So just like we learn in Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts, you do not drink from a place of stagnant water. You drink from a place that has fresh water and it's rolling over the rocks. It's cleansing itself, right? That's where we is. And in doing so, with that self-love, we release the blocks to our intuition, because when we're exhausted, when we worried, when we have anxiety, that's a cock block for our intuition. You can't tune in. You can't tune in. So when we are able to tune in, when we give ourselves back that love from whatever judgment, even if it was subconscious, that third eye gets lit up from the flow up and our intuition comes back online. Again, 39 is a 12. And how the ACES reading works is that I'm going to pull on each of the ACES for different reasons and different questions. And I start with not the cabinet, not the royalty, the kings, the queens, the pages, and the knights. That is just escaping me at the moment. Not the royalty. It's not the major arcana. It's part of the minor arcana, but they're not the suit cards. It'll pop up inappropriately during the reading at some point. So first we went with what is the energy of the divine feminine's energy, and that was a Knight of Pentacles. Okay, so a little bit, it's a slower moving energy. In decks we see it as the dude walking, on the Light Seers deck, he's walking next to a racehorse. Okay, but the idea with the Knight of Pentacles is that they're not rushing, but that's because they're very studious. They're learning everything. They're soaking everything in along the way. And they're the only knight that is actually guaranteed to make the destination, because it's carefully, 1 foot at a time, learn, okay, next mission, right? Next place. You encounter all kinds of things if you're going on an exploration as the Fool, right? The environmental energy of this Knight of Pentacles, which would be mutable earth, which is going to be our Virgo energy. We have the Princess of Staves, which is going to be our Page of Wands energy. So around this slower exploration, there's a feeling of, or there's somebody in their environment that's a throw caution to the wind kind of person, or you're being asked to tap into your creativity, and kind of it's encouraging you to pick up the pace. The wands want to pick up the pace of the pentacles. So if you combine those two together, that median would be more of a cups energy. Instead of taking a year for something, we're not going to rush in a week, but we might compromise on a month. That makes sense. Okay, then for the divine masculine side, we've got the King of Arrows. This is Adonis, and Perseus, by the way, is the Knight of Pentacles. The King of Arrows is the King of Swords, Aquarian energy. Adonis is holding Cupid's arrow, and kind of have a look on his face there, very stern. He's not the touchy-feely king. He's not kind of sensual like the King of Pentacles and relaxed. He's like, I got to get shit done. I'm focused on my shit. And he's very stern looking, but he is holding on to flowers. Now, there are mountains he must climb around him, and he does want to know what love is, but he is only focused on one thing at a time. Okay. They are very, not narrow-minded is not the right idea. Very focused. Aquarian energy, change. How can I challenge the status quo? When I know the truth, there's no not knowing it for a King of Swords. Okay. There's no going back from that. Now, in their environmental energy is Hera, a Queen of Pentacles. So that could be mother energy. It could be that they are currently in a relationship. Now I'm saying they, he, she. You don't have to be in a relationship, guys, to get anything out of this message. These, again, are the yin and yang parts of ourselves. So up here, you're going to be looking at where you need to let those feminine aspects balance. And on this side of the board, you're going to be listening for what are the yang aspects, or the masculine side, the actions that need to be taken to help bring you into balance. Okay. So the Queen of Pentacles, she has a lot more mountains, okay, but they're visible. That doesn't mean that the King of Swords has any less mountains than she does, but she's not really focused on them. She's pretty relaxed, okay? The Queen of Pentacles is like, yeah, been there, done that. I'll get there when I get there. She's the most mature queen. This is someone, so this could be they're just focusing on their money right now, or you could be, okay? Whereas the divine feminine energy is focused on learning, and there's a need for some haste here, okay? We need to pick up the pace here on that feminine aspects being allowed in. Now, King of Swords is focusing on some kind of truth regarding his stability, okay? Then next, we go through each of the ACES, and I take the major arcana then. The court cards. The court cards are separated. We ask who they are, who what each energy is representing. Then just the major arcana cards are used to ask a question in particular about the connection. So what I'm going to do is I think we'll go through each column at a time. And then that way, if you're so kind to do so, we can timestamp by the ACES. Okay, here we go for our Ace of Coins or our Ace of Pentacles. The divine feminine energy question is, what is the sensual or physical nature of the relationship? Okay. And we have represented Orpheus and Eurydice. And this entire deck, the Love Oracle deck, depicts a different couple in history and mythology to use as an example of the lessons of the Fool's Journey that we can learn. And it's saying what here is the physical nature of their relationship. And not only do we get free from judgment, free to love, breaking down to a 12, we got the 12, which is normally the Hanged Man in the major arcana. In this deck, it's called Sacrifice. So Orpheus has his music there right in his hand, and he's an awesome musician, and it swoons Eurydice. Somehow Eurydice tragically dies and is sacrificed. So he goes into Hades and begs and begs and begs and tries to use his music to sway Persephone to please let Eurydice come back to the earthly plane. Okay. She relents and says, but there's one condition. She cannot look at you. She cannot see you until you get home, until you've made it through the journey home. And to calm her fears, Eurydice is like begging to see him. She can't believe she's back on the earthly plane. But guess who kind of succumbs to her needs, even though it was not for the better of the whole? You got it if you guessed Orpheus. Okay. So our question for Ace of Pentacles together, how do they please each other and what do they enjoy doing together? Well, it's the card of sacrifice. That's doing something for someone else, even though it does not benefit you. In shadow, that can be overgiving, that can be an imbalance of codependency, right? Overgiving when we're not meeting our own needs, we're pouring from an empty cup. Now, the question when we split the energies for the divine feminine, what love language brings the divine feminine side of ourselves, joy and happiness, or what is their love language? And we have Adam Levine, who wouldn't love that, right? It's just kidding. It is the Knight of Cups, also on a standstill horse, though. Even though he's pausing at the beach, might be writing love songs. So divine feminine aspects within ourselves, we enjoy intimate moments, okay? Taking the time out, romance, being asked out on a date, being complimented. Now, the Knight of Cups, while not as slow as the Knight of Pentacles, can sometimes be in love with love. Okay, so we need to make sure that, as you know, if we're wooing somebody or somebody is wooing us, is it just wooing or is it genuine? Are they trying to get something, or are they really trying to show us that they love us, right? And then two cards ended up flying out with that. And we're speaking of this yin yang energy, and that is the temperance energy. So temperance being with the Knight of Cups, maybe the love language is that balance of energy, right? You don't have to go overboard and like be annoying about it, but I do want to hear it. Right? You can't just be silent. We can't just, Netflix and chill for years on end. We want to go do stuff. You want to have adventures. You want it to be hot, right? You want to have times also where you can be comfortable in silence. The divine feminine aspect of ourselves really requires balance of the heart. This is the tempering of these energies, is pouring into our own selves so that we may have that energy to give to others. And this is work, guys. Dating, you should still date your partner no matter how long you've been in a connection with them, or else that heat dies out, right? Temperance is putting the work in to get something out, right? Not for that purpose. You're not giving to get. You're giving so that you can replenish and then pour from a nice, full, free-flowing cup, okay? Now, in the environmental energy, this is either a person around you, or you can consider this the yang energy, balancing that out. This is the energy of the hermit. So funny that I said maybe you don't want to Netflix and chill for years on end, because the hermit is a solitary energy, right? This could be somebody that prefers to be alone. The hermit is someone who is very deep and in perspective. And again, Virgo energy coming through here with the number 9 card. Now, the hermit has assessed his own life's journey. He holds the lantern of the star of his wish guiding his way. And this is at the point where the fool is in contemplation of, have I gotten what I've given? Have I really gone after and chased my dreams? Have I gone after the love of my dreams? Have I really? And what do I value? And those values could be changing, especially with the whole new 5-point Venus star. All right, for the divine masculine, what love language makes the divine, or what brings them happiness and joy? The divine masculine, this is the Hierophant card, Taurus energy, a fixed energy. They like to be the leader. They like to be the boss, okay? So the divine masculine aspect of ourselves, while our feminine side wants the romance and the balance, the other end of that is like, I want someone who's going to teach me something. So the divine masculine love energy might be that of, well, I'm helping evolve them. I am teaching them what I know. I see around corners and I protect them, okay? Because traditionally that's the card of the Pope. And this deck is really interesting because it not only is it a full moon, it's a little hazy, but that forest is really dark. The things that go bump in the night. But she's got a face on the back of her head and on either side of a head. Even though it's dark, she sees everything, kind of a little bit like the high priestess energy. This is the expert, the shaman, the guru, the guide, the love language of the divine masculine, and that snake knowledge, the healer, right? They want to be the leader. Okay, they desire to lead. They desire to be the one that is on the teaching aspect or end. And in their environment, dun da da da, is the Empress. Okay, so the divine masculine part of yourself desires to be that leader, that shaman, that guide for the divine feminine part of yourself. Okay, because you're awesome. This is all 4 queens in one. Very nurturing energy. The card of Empress energy would be Libra energy. The card of Venus, right? Libra and Libra. Why am I forgetting today? Venus, she's got it. I'm distracted by a song. Libra and, oh, duh, Taurus. It's not even on there, but okay. Anyway, Libra and Taurus, the card of the Empress. So a lot of Earth, funny enough, under the Pentacles card. So we have Taurus here, Virgo, and Libra energy. Now the Empress, like I said, is the queen of all 4 queens combined. She is the dreamer. She is the nurturer. She is the giver. Okay. She loves love. She is love. And the thing about the Empress, the divine masculine side needs to learn is in receiving. Okay. She's very kind of like, those outfits when you see stars and they're all like a stocking, but just bedazzled sparkles. This is flowers and ivy growing all around her, but it's her outfit. She wears that nature and she looks beautiful. And her robe is of the clouds. Okay. She's Mother Earth. She is everything. Okay. So you might be everything to this person, or their partner may be. That may just signify that they enjoy, the masculine enjoys treating their partner like the queen that they are. Okay, maybe too much so though. Are they really a queen? Do they really deserve it? I shall say. Okay, next, Ace of Arrows. And this deck is Ace of Swords. Okay, so Ace of Swords. And our combined energy card is what wisdom is gained in this connection. We have Brunhilde and Siegfried. Now, Brunhilde was actually married to King Mark, but was in love with Siegfried. I feel like I'm forgetting. No, that's Tristan and Isolde that's coming up. Same kind of story. Brunhilde fell in love with his stories of love, but he was human, and her dad was having nothing of Siegfried, like out and out refused it, right? But their passion was so strong for each other, and she was so blown away and touched by his stories and of love that she defied her father and, said, F it, I'm going and I'm following my heart. Okay, so this is the strength card, the lemniscate energy, the balance. Okay, coming up out of childhood, no longer being held down, unifying each side of ourselves so that we have the confidence to not only go after what it is that we want, but so our energy is raised enough so we attract what it is we want, which is what we are when we're in a raised vibration. Or in a low vibration, you kind of know where your vibe is by who's surrounding you. Okay, so again, the 8, this is the strength card. So the wisdom that is gained in this connection is, do I do what I'm expected to do? Or do I go after what my heart wants? What does my heart want? Am I balanced enough to go after what my heart wants? Okay, so for the divine feminine aspect, the question is, what is their communication style? So the feminine side of ourself is a little anxious. Okay, this is not really taking action with our voice, not sharing our voice. It's awfully comfy cozy, and here this old wand is there, but I'm holding on to this one, secretly longing to go out there in the big wide world where there are so many other opportunities. Okay, so this is the ask, divine feminine aspect of ourselves. Oh my gosh, I just noticed that this is like it's a bug van with a surfboard. And I did a reading. Don't watch it if you're easily offended. But it involved a dream of where I was made to hitch. Instead of having a trailer on the back of the car, I was expected to hitch a Barbie camper van. That clearly cannot keep up. So I just noticed that there's like a little Barbie camper van in the bottom there. It's indicative of travel, okay? Like doing what you want to actually do. The wands are the action, right? So what action should I take? But this is like knowing what you want to do. What's holding us back there in that past? There's some kind of a fear aspect here. And in the environmental energy, that be why. You done been through it. 9 of Wands. I mean, look at her face. This is my what you talking about Willis face. And she's like, I wish a bitch would. I love this card. You know what? When you need strength, when you need to keep going, when you're freaking exhausted, if you don't have the light seers that get it, just so you can love on this card like I do. I mean, look at her resilience. Go ahead and try me, right? She's been through it. She's had the life experiences that have taught her to put up these boundaries. And sometimes they're walls, though. Then we keep ourselves inside of that wall, right? And it's kind of a flimsy wall, though. I mean, somebody can really get through that. So it's kind of like somebody that fronts that maybe they want to be by themselves or they don't need anybody, right? It's because there's hurt there. Now, the Nine of Wands can also be seen as repeating the same actions over and over again. And even though it always comes out to the same result, the 10 of Wands would be being done with that, setting down that burden. These are all life's burdens that she's carried with her so far. And it can also be, especially with the 2 of Wands, we're taking that 2 away wands, because that's a should I stay, should I go, this person, that person, getting a big beep, this job, that job. Okay, so that reduces that to a 7 of Wands, but 7 of Wands can be defensive energy. Like, I know what I have to do, but I've been through some things and I'm a little scared, and I'm going to be defensive and push back any kind of other action that might try to come toward me, right? It can also be 7 of Wands, standing your ground, okay, taking the high road. But my question for you is, what is the high road for you? What is your heart already telling you to take action on, but fear is holding you back from? Okay, so the communication style of the divine feminine is her mouth. She's by herself. Both of them is to say nothing. Divine feminine, how are you supposed to get what you want if you don't say it? The 2 of Wands is encouraging us to ask the universe. Today is the new moon in Gemini. It's the day to ask. It's the day to put your wishes into the universe. And we have the help of Jupiter giving us that little extra, not little extra, a lot of extra push. If you do just a little, you make that decision, you change it to the 3 of Wands, to the, okay, I put the ask out. The 3 of Wands is allowing in, creating the space. Okay. Think about it like when you're using wands for a fire. If you're trying to build a fire and you've got so many sticks on there, but there's no room underneath, right? That's why you kind of build like a teepee. And because you have to have that circulation of air there so that the fire can catch, right? It's elemental. There's things required of that. You can't get without first creating the space for that action to happen, right? If you're so jammed up in all of your actions, you're too busy, can't be bothered, where's the room, right? So if our communication style is, I don't have time to talk, well, it's pretty important, right? It's like a putting off energy of, I'm not ready to say, I know what I want, but I've been through it, so I'm scared to ask for what it's like, being kind of scared of getting what you want. Maybe you don't think it's possible. Test it out. Today's the day to do that. All right, the communication style of the divine masculine. Which way do I go, George? Part of them wants to stay in the past here, see how her arm is turning into a skeletal bone. And I did a reading where I talked about the lake. We had that sacred journey card of number 26, where it was connected to the root, right? Kind of ingrained that circular pattern like a lake. But if the lake has a tributary, that can lead back to the ocean of your soul. And in that card, we did see that escape out, okay, and moving towards the pentacles. When you stop being in this well of what doesn't work, 8 broken cups, 9 wands together here, the strength card, this is really in need of balancing out. Both energies are not taking, actions. She's still unsure here, but she knows this white side, this dress, the new, okay, she knows she wants to go there. So both sides of yourself want a change. Both sides want a change. So what is the communication style of the divine masculine is, not maybe saying what they're unsure of. Okay. Maybe the divine masculine can see arguments for both sides, but really the divine masculine is yearns to learn something new. He does, once the divine masculine energy of this is done learning all they need to know. Okay, Pisces energy here. No, yep, Pisces energy, 8, 9, 10. That can be a little mutable. Should I stay? Should I go? What should I do? There can be many tributaries. Does it have to be just the one way? Either way, the cups is broken, and you're either going to go around and take another trip around the same lake, or you're going to find the tributary and pull where your heart is leading. And we keep seeing this time is of the essence energy. I know that's funny. It's my attempt at keeping time. Okay, the divine masculine side of you wants to learn new things. If you are done growing, okay, there's this, snake of wisdom here. And this is the water bird, the crane. That is, reincarnation energy. The Egyptians buried them with their dead to help in the process of being able to learn new things the next lifetime, right? That knowledge of the Page of Pentacles. So now in the environmental energy of this divine masculine, we have who the divine feminine is showing up as. So if this is a partnership you're thinking of and you are separated at this point, they're thinking they can learn more from you. You want to go down that other tributary, okay? Next column, please. I don't have a little timer here to note. Ace of Staves is the Ace of Wands in this deck. The active nature of the relationship, talk about heat with the wands. Near you. We have the Chariot card. Okay, in this deck, it's called Desire. And now we do have Tristan and Isolde. So Isolde was married to King Mark, the King of Cups in this deck, but was secretly in love with Tristan, and Tristan was very in love with her, but vowed and pledged allegiance to the king. So we have a little love triangle going on here, an imbalance. One of these kids is not like the other. All right, so this card here, how are they working together to achieve the shared goals of this union? This desire may only be we're apart, but if we keep that energy, if both people have it, it will be. But again, we have to clear the space, and each side that side has to learn their lessons. This side has to learn their lessons. Both sides of ourselves have to be balanced. Other person has to be balanced. Then that desire, that energy of the universe, what we desire is already ours. We just have to raise our vibrational frequency to match the energy of what it is that we want. Okay, so splitting up the energies, they're working together by kind of keeping this, I will be the flame energy of the hermit going on. in their hearts. 7, July energy. Again, the Chariot, that's aligning masculine and feminine energy so that intuition drives the Chariot with no reins. This is the couple where you both instinctively know. This is not a connection where like a person has no idea we exist. This is coming from both ends, except with the 7, right? The 6 is what you want. Father, Son, Holy Spirit on each end, body, mind, spirit. There's one too many on one side. Okay, so something needs to give here. The style with which the divine masculine moves through life to achieve the goals they've set. We've got the 4 of Pentacles. 2, 3, 4 would be cardinal earth, which is going to be Capricorn energy. This is an energy of protecting what's yours, what you value. It can also be a little bit hoardy, okay? But because the environmental energy we see here, this deck is so old. It's getting all puffy edged, clunky. We see here this high independence. Okay, so again, this can either be the masculine opposing energy, or you can just, for the divine feminine side, if you're reading this as 2 people, financially independent. This is respected in the community, not afraid to reach for what you want because you have plenty experience of doing that. The next card, stage up from the 9 of Pentacles, is the Queen of Pentacles. And then we move into Empress energy. Okay, so there's a falcon there, and that is a symbol of status. Okay, so you've achieved a certain amount in your life, or this person has around you, and it's kind of like, I want to hang on to some things. I want to hang on to what's mine. Again, where's what's under the TP? Okay. Now we move into 49. Could be 49 years old. Don't have to be. 94. Graduated in 94. That's a 92. 3 9s. I just noticed that in the environmental energy. And it's the end of something, like feminine aspect of yourself, or the divine feminine and the physical form is getting ready to make some kind of big change, because Temperance is a 14. That's a 5 of change. Wow. Okay, cool. Cool. Let's look. Play that one. Cool. Let's look at how the style with which the divine masculine moves through life and the actions they take to achieve their goals. So if you're reading this as all one person, this is like doing some sneaky shit, like trying to get away with something. See how the shadow does not match what the actual figure is, or what she has. Okay, this is like trying to kind of step over or skate over. This is spiritual bypassing all day, every day. Sometimes in certain decks, traditionally for sure, Rider Waite, is the figure is stealing the swords from the army camp because it's for the better of the whole, right? He doesn't want that. He's not normally a thief, but he's doing something out of his own wheelhouse or out of his own identity or personality for the betterment of all around. However, in this deck, she got a mask on. She knows what she's doing. If you feel like you are the one being deceived, divine masculine, you is. Okay, this is someone being deceitful with their words, swords, their thoughts, communications. The divine feminine may be holding back. Okay, they might be a little bit stingy with their resources, could be. Just want to that they value their independence. They say they want to be together, but really kind of want to keep things the same. So this can be also us not aligning with our thoughts and not taking action on what it is that we're actually desiring. Two of Wands, okay, Eight of Cups. You know you want to go somewhere, but you're pretending everything's fine. Nothing to see here. This is after the deed has already been done. Look at her ornery little face. What swords? I don't see any swords. Are you deceiving yourself, Divine Masculine? And if this is all you're listening to this reading, just all for your yin and yang parts of yourself, this is deceiving yourself, telling you things are just fine, telling yourself the other person's going to change, telling yourself that this job is making you happy, that it's fine. Is fine? Fine's not even good. I mean, those are such boring words, both of them. But good is at least positive. Fine. Who wants fine? Who wants a fine? It was fine. No, you want delicious. You want absolutely impeccable. You want enjoyable. You want scrumptious. You want it all, right? So this is, especially when there's a full energy here, this big old dandelion wish, and this moon energy, even though it's a full card, there's something else you really want. Look at all these suitors in the past. The Fool is starting a new journey here, contemplating new suitors in the future. You want something else, yin and yang. Except the action Jackson part of it, you're running away from taking action. You're doing nothing. Lying to yourself is simply foolish. Okay, this could be somebody, it's a zero card, not doing a damn thing, right? And you're fooling yourself with, well, they're going to do the work. They're going to try to escape by the work and spiritual bypass that shit. Not the greatest when it comes to what actions, the style with which they navigate through life. This is a big daddy saddy moment of this shit is not going to fly anymore. Just saying. And remember, Isolde and Tristan, the desire card, the chariot card, this is something that is not, there's something that's not in balance. There's something that's not aligned. One of these kids is not like the other. Someone's wearing a mask, which could be why our instincts, pentacles are feminine energy, why we're holding back. 9 minus 4 pentacles, the 5 of pentacles is physical abandonment. Are we afraid of physical abandonment? So, nope, I'm just an independent person. I'm fine. When we really want love, do you really want to hold back the 4 of pentacles? Like, do you want to have all your resources all to yourself and just yourself? I think that it's scared to take action, right? You have the resources all around you. It's shifting a mindset, okay? Always trying to run away and start again new. That doesn't work either, especially when you know damn well if it's somebody else you desire or just another action, another life. You're like, is this what life is? Fine. I mean, if that's fine with you. What are we judging ourselves about that we don't feel we deserve better? Because I'm here to tell you, you do. You do. Okay, our Ace of Cups, the emotional nature of this connection. Timestamp, please. Emotional issues that are currently affecting this connection. Of course, it had to come out. We've been seeing it forever. And it's the energy of the devil. In this deck, it's called Temptation. There's something else you really want. It's a 15 card, so that's a 6. We talked about the balance. Something is out of balance. 5 on one side, 1 on the other side. You're like, but that equals 6. Well, it's supposed to be 3 and 3 when it's a 6, right? Each person is in their triangle of alignment. Divine masculine energy, swords. Divine feminine energy, cups. I say Dorito. Temptation. Paolo and Francesca. Now, this story actually has to do with Dante's Inferno. So it's a little more in depth than I can ever remember. Remember this, it says the fear, right? If we just focus on the devil card, it does have something to teach us. Everybody has a devil. It's part of the hero's journey. You don't skip over that one. You're not a better or worse person when you're in the energy or when you're in the challenge of the devil. It just, you decide how long you stay here. The devil can chain you down, but it's an invisible chain. What do you feel tied to? What do you feel like you have to do that you don't really want to do? I'm getting sassy now, guys. All right, I'm feeling protective over you. You're messing up my table. Okay, in this deck, temptation, it says inner turmoil or obsession. And oh, look, it's on page 11 where we started. Now this 11, right? This 11-11 connection is in the Hanged Man energy, in the 3D physical pentacles, and in the overall energy of the ones. All right, so Francesca, I don't have my old vocals on here. Francesca de Polenta of Ravenna was married to Giovanni Malatesta to strengthen their family's political bonds. So an arranged marriage, okay? But there was one problem. Francesca loved Giovanni's brother. Uh-oh. So they were told no, they shouldn't have said yes because they were already betrothed, and in that time you like that was until death. There ain't no getting out of that until you did. And here we have a third. Just saying. All right. But there was one problem. She really did love Giovanni's brother, the handsome Paolo. Tempted by love, Francesca and Paolo's story could only end in sorrow. These true events inspired the poet Dante, who had a vision of Paolo tenderly embracing Francesca to protect her against the forces swirling about them in Hades. Dante retold their their sad story in his Inferno, the first book of the Divine Comedy. So the meaning of this card in this deck is tempted by forces one cannot control, feeling chained to something, the invisible chains of society, of family, of the dread shoulds. The dreaded, I should do this. I should. You want to live in fine? It's fine. Is it? Doesn't feel like it. Obsession in the form of envy. We had that come out with the siren energy, and then the shield of the emperor that I said reminded me of the envy card. Okay. Experiencing the envy of others. So somebody be jealous. We talked about that in that same reading of somebody holding on, I think it was the reading before, holding on to the divine masculine's energy out of, I don't want you to have nobody else. Doesn't matter if you're male or female, doesn't matter. It's energy. What you have is an illusion. Someone be fooling you. And they were getting ready to getting ready to fuck around and find out. Transforming a weakness into a strength. So the devil has a purpose. It has something to show us. It can also signify great career success. Okay. So we'll see where this goes here with each of the divine aspects. What are the emotional needs of the divine feminine? Just judgment. You need to make a judgment call. Look at all these twos, two of wands. We've had that reading where all the twos were present on one side of the board. Okay, definitely a decision needs to be made here. Environmental energy, two of cups. You want your emotional needs are that I get what I give. I'm putting into myself to make myself a better human. I'm giving myself self-love, Ace of Cups. The overpour should be worth it. And instead you got fine. I asked at the beginning of the reading, what do you think? Why do you think you don't deserve it? Our first card out, which you wouldn't know because the reading got scrapped, was free from judgment, free to love. 12, hangman energy. Now we see by the time of this full moon, look at her release. Okay. We have biological reactions that happen because of trauma, guys. It's in our bodies at a cellular level. You may not even know it's there. What you react to and have anxiety about, even if it's about leaving something shitty, even if it's about leaving a liar that just wants to, be a child and always just run away, jump off another cliff. When are you going to let him? You want something else. I can feel you do, don't you, lad? And you deserve it. But there's some trauma here you haven't released out of your body. It hasn't been processed. When we react in a way that is incongruent with the stimulus, that is a sign. That is a kernel of knowledge. That is a question mark. What am I afraid of? Why did I react that way? Why does that anger me? Why does that piss me off? Why does that hurt me? And again, it's when something is incongruent with what happens, right? If you're putting up, Seven of Swords all day, every day, to me is going to be, in this deck in particular, especially, is dismissive avoidant. No, it's not. You don't see what you see. That's like narcissism as well. It's toxic. They just want to run away anyway. And if this is your action, your yang part of yourself, your wands and your swords, your truth and your action, you're doing nothing. There's no avoiding the spiritual growth in this lesson. It's here because once you hit that 21, once you release this, once you figure this puzzle out, okay, and put all the pieces from Temperance, you Humpty Dumpty yourself back together again, you find yourself, you remember who you are, you are a big time love. You have an Ace of Cups to give. You deserve an Ace of Cups back. Why are we not doing anything about this pain? It's what's holding you back. It's what's making you scared. It's what's putting up these flimsy boundaries, allowing shit to occur again and again. They can get through that boundary. Shift boundaries. It's not easy, but this is like hanging. This is like severe attachment. This is anxious attachment, and that's dismissive avoidant attachment. And if that's the dynamic you find yourself in, one person triggers the other every time. The dismissive is triggered by, let me give you a little show here. The dismissive person is triggered when the person that wants to get close, right? Feminine pentacles, then they want to go further away. When they want to go further away, the anxious person wants to get closer because they're anxious about that space between. They're anxious because they're convinced that they're not good enough and that nobody will love them because they were probably abandoned as well, told that their emotions don't matter, told you're a PUSS, boys don't cry, suck it up, you're not hurt, you're fine, dust it off, put a Band-Aid on it. How do you feel? Never asked. Same here. Same exact stimulus of abandonment. And that's not, doesn't make parents bad people, guys. They were more than likely also not emotionally protected and stimulated. These attachments are formed by 18 months old. This, look it up. The studies are fascinating. How these babies reacted to when their mother left the room, didn't care at all. They're used to being alone. They're used to not having their needs met when they cry. Fusses and cries and throws a royal damn fit. And then when the mother comes back in the room, pretends they're fine. When the mother comes back in the room, nothing to see here. No change in the baby's disposition. Traumatized, different reactions. One begets the other. This is a false twin flame, guys. This is exactly what that is, because that push-pull feels like love. And not that you don't love each other. That's not what that is. It's not a healthy love. Neither one of you is securely attached. You have to have at least one securely attached partner to help the avoidant to be able to be secure enough in yourself to give them the space that they need, to help them discover the joys and the freedom within commitment. Secure person helps the anxious person by, hey, look, I love you too. Everything's okay. I'm not going anywhere. I love you as much as you love me. I got you. Are you hearing any of that? Either way? Which one are you guys? Do you run or do you run toward bullshit over and over again, wishing that you could go out there, but mentally stuck on the inside because you're lying to yourself? It's fine. If it was, you wouldn't want to go outside. Okay? Rainbow connection can happen It's literally in your energy. What you want wants you literally the second that you wish for it, whether you are 5 years old or 55 years old or 105. It's in your vortex. It's within reach. But in order to, let's say this is in your wishing well, we're going to say it's up here. Your energy's down here because we're judging ourselves. We haven't learned to click our heels yet. As soon as we lighten our load and start healing these wounds, learning to practice secure attachment, maybe with friends or loved ones, that will help us. And not just say, so why don't you leave them then? Which is exactly the worst thing you can do, especially to an anxious avoidant. That's trauma. You're re-traumatizing that person. Stop it. As soon as we release this judgment and figure out, at least letting our left brain logic go, oh, allowing ourselves to see how we've been deceiving ourselves and why. It's not your fault. But what happens is you've been subconsciously playing out that same dynamic your entire life in every relationship, because that's how you formed attachment. Is an 18-month-old at fault for that? No, but it's not a fault thing. It's a learning thing. You got one more thing to go after you do this to successfully close this lesson and to actually have this. So close. What does the divine masculine need emotionally? Stop living in the past. Stop dreaming of your person that you're hiding in the moon and boo-hooing over regret. Right? This is pain. You're staying attached to this pain. Okay? If that was a person of the past, or it's just, I know I just want this, even though it's just a hand in my mind now. It's not really attached to a person, it's attached to an idea. But that's the idea. Getting in the energy of what it is that you want. What is equal partnership to you? How does that feel? That's what you manifest today. Divine masculine, defensiveness. Mask, what mask? I have a perfectly human head. This can also be a card of standing your ground and taking the high road. Not with the 5 of Cups. That is paying attention to the 3 broken cups, the loss, what happened in the past, what happened in the dreams, illusions, right? Holding on to yesteryear, midlife crisis. We do stupid shit, right? What are we defending? Why are we defending feeling this way? Our emotional needs are examining that regret, feeling the hard feelings, and letting them go, forgiving ourselves. There's still 2 perfectly beautiful cups. The 2 of Cups are what's left. But you gotta, just like the Judgment card, you gotta be able to stop looking and focusing on those 3 and fault finding. And I should have done this. The dreaded shouldas. Okay. This is an important reading, guys. I've been seeing kind of this rumbling in the jungle for a long time in the energy. And I was just like, once and for all, what the hell is going on? That's why there's the love, okay? There's the desire, which reminds me of 65. Do I have it? Because yesterday was 6-5. Okay, there's the love, the desire. I was like, I wonder if the stars and dice will work with 658 since they're all single digit numbers. And the 6, that's the realm, the big, huge, like our inner forces affecting our destiny, our attachment styles. Okay. Number 6 was like, boo, ambivalence, no stars, because it's confusion. The object is a sword. It's the malleability of metal symbolized by a sword. That's ambivalence. A sword is ambivalent to what it slices through. It's going to slice through no matter what it slices through. The realm foreshadows an ordeal. We must put up a front of courage and endurance in the face of this hardship. You got to do the work. But wait, there's more. We're overwhelmed with doubt, hesitation, and perplexity. An obstacle could be blocking our paths. It isn't the time to act. A period of solitude seems indicated. You got to go within, you got to do the work. But when we get to the 565, and I've never seen this. I mean, I've had this since I was 18 years old, and that's, don't you dare ask me. You get to the 65, and who would have expected love? 5 stars, the most that you can get on any of the roll of the dice. And I was using the fire reference. I totally forgot about this. It's on page 72. Lovely year. And 6 and 5, 11, 5 stars. 6 signifies duality. 5 signifies unity. When 2 people unite as one, love is born, releasing a tremendous energy. This is represented by 11, the sum of these 2 numbers. The image of love is fire. It destroys impurities, gives off heat, and feeds on the fuel that it consumes. You are seeking to harmonize the multiple elements of a situation. You will succeed only by showing great understanding and love. You will manage to balance out the give and take in your relationship with someone whose qualities complement your own. This person may be more active, reasonable, and affectionate than you, or perhaps the reverse is true. Whatever the case may be, this individual can give you what you don't have. Your divine and feminine masculine aspects as well. The state of love is perpetual motion, a ballet of opposites, a higher form of harmony. By abandoning yourself to it, you will discover that your doubts were needlessly holding you back, keeping you stuck in the same lake over and over again. House gets boring. I love my independence. I love my home. It's comfy, cozy, but you got to get out of the hidey hole at some point. By abandoning yourself to it, love that is, you will discover that your doubts were needlessly holding you back. Love is the original mystery and the greatest one of all. It is a universal force that precedes, penetrates, and surpasses everything else. It transfigures and transforms the most mundane events into uniquely glorious ones. You should not fear the state of surrender that a wholehearted and fulfilling relationship requires. Full moon energy. We surrender the full moon. We can see the whole park at the top of that roller coaster. That is when we surrender by forgiving. It's make or break time, because going on that ride, today is the first day that you get to build the tracks to what you want to happen on this June 21st, full moon in Capricorn. If what you've been doing hasn't been working for you, If it feels shitty, if we have regrets, if we're defensive, we hold back, we're lying to ourselves when really we desire so much to grow. Are you learning anything new where you're at? And if you're staying there, you know, your Action Jackson wants to become the expert at something. You want to conquer this. You do. Because you know you're this. Emperor's not on the board. He doesn't have to be. The Empress is fine all by herself. But you still want this, and that's okay. But you gotta come into union with all 4 of your components first, right? What aspect of you? Is it your pentacles? Is your money low? Do you feel like you don't have any assets, any resources, any time, any energy for yourself? Well, you certainly don't for love then. If we don't have self-love, the cups, you're not ready. If we don't have the knowledge and we don't have the desire and we know we should do something and what we want, but we don't do it. I know I should, but if it's for yourself, what's holding you back from that? The wands, the action. There's 0 action on either end of this, whether it's you and another person or another person and you. Nothing's happening there. The desire is there. So again, this is not somebody that doesn't desire you back. You're both stuck, just in different ways. Okay. So if this is like a marriage, it's long freaking dead, guys, and it's the same roller coaster over and over, do you really feel they desire you back? They may, but if you're in that avoidant anxious dynamic, it's never getting fixed unless you both actively decide to do that. Guess which person is usually the one that heals? The anxious person. If that other person is avoidant, fine, let them do their work, but do it somewhere else. They're just going to suck you in under the undertow. And they can't help it, but they also don't want to help it. That's hard to swallow, I know. Because if you're saying to yourself, if they would just do blank, then our marriage, then our life together, then my life would be, that's codependency. You're in charge of you, I'm in charge of me. Easier said than done, granted. But once you know, then there's the avoidance of, no, I don't know anything. Not me. It's okay. Stop judging yourself for it. Let yourself go, even if you get your fingers slightly burned. Be generous, open, and receptive. Unify people and things. Foster intimacy with others. Forget about yourself. Surrender yourself wholeheartedly and stay confident. Avoiding ourselves, like really forget about, this is you not judging yourself. This is you taking the rest of the years that you do have and living them with passion and desire. Right in the heart of this read, you're avoiding this temptation. It's got a hold on you really bad. The temptation is just to go back to fine. Talk yourself out of it, huh? Do we know we're doing that even? Maybe today's the day that you find out that this attachment, right, from the past, whatever that is, wearing the dress of it, whatever was in that moon that you were, this is your subconscious. You're aware now because now I'm telling you to check it out. Look it up. Secure and insecure attachment styles. The majority of the population is insecurely attached, FYI. So you're in the company of many. And it's highly likely you may also be attached to someone that's insecurely attached. And why we have the same Groundhog Day every day and nothing ever changes. It's because nothing is changing. We're just wishing out of fear, hanging on to something, even if it's shitty, out of fear of abandonment, when you already abandon yourself by hanging on to whatever this is that is not good for you. That's the lesson. It takes a lot of bravery to let go, but how each person can be transformed by this union, by this lesson, is number 11. Balance, justice. That may mean a divorce. There's something that shows you where the imbalance was so that you can bring justice to yourself. And we go from the right side, creative, oh, it's somewhere up there in the moon, to the logical left side of, wow, Ace of Swords, light bulb comes on. And we awaken to the sun, which started off our life path 1, the path of cycles. We have Cupid and Psyche awakening. They both love each other equally, as do these people. Got to have the strength and the desire to balance your own self back out so that you can see that you deserve the ultimate happiness of the sun. You do. Change that Wheel of Fortune this time to your own fate. Right under that, there's the Lovers. That Devil moves to the other side and evens out 3 to 3. No longer 1 and 5. You're not serving yourself short. And this is Isis and Osiris. Reminds me of the kiss, which is hanging in my front hallway. That, oddly enough, I got with my first paycheck. I think it was 14 or 15. And that's the first thing I bought when I went to the mall to shop. Good old Northland Mall. Not there anymore. Doesn't that look like dandelions down there in the bottom? You can have your wish. Can. Let's get a card of advice for the collective. If you're here, you're either awakening, you're already awakened, you're working through those lessons of spiritual ascension. The 26 card sacred journey that I talked about. Are we going to stay stuck in the lake? Are we going to follow that tributary of our fire right? The fire, the passion, the love brings the pentacles without any effort, without sorrow, without hiding from ourselves, without running away from this pain. I'd say that's worth it. Crossed by unconditional love. That's what all this blue is. When you allow the truth to be communicated to yourself. Advice, look at all this blue and purple, move forward. 23, it's a 5 of change. New chapter. 24, a 6. Step into a new door. Go outside. Let's stop lying to ourselves. I'll be brave if you will. $34 is a 7. There's that new portal of hope. The invisible bars. Hope is a thing with feathers. Paul Lawrence Dunbar. 16. Got a 7 and a 7 now. That is divinely protected. That is your angels are with you in that very moment. Look at this portal. Look at that beautiful energy. If you just choose something different and move forward this time. Not just a new chapter, it's a whole new damn book. And it's good. I love you. And please know that the whole reading, I'm asking you to not judge yourself. There's certainly no judgment here. This is all coming from love. Yes, in the cards, but from me to you, and taking the time to dig deeper and to be on the case. I knew I couldn't take this reading off the table just because the tape didn't work. Tape, video, whatever. I love you. Make those wishes today. Bye-bye for now. Much love.